Washington, D.C. was not prepared for this in any way.
Joint session. Each house will deliberate separately on the pending objection.
Let's go. Hey.
Oh, meanwhile, up on the steps of the backside of the Capitol, we're seeing protesters overcome the police. The police are now running back into the Capitol building. We have cheers from the protesters that are watching behind the scenes. Congress forced into a lockdown. Lawmakers sheltering in place in the wake of supporters of President Donald Trump breaking into the U.S. Capitol building, forcing a delay in the certification of the Electoral College.
Police are squabbling with protesters. Oh, there we go.
This is not dissent. It's disorder. It's chaos. It borders on sedition. And it must end now.
All afternoon, things here have been so peaceful. This is a decidedly different feeling now. The protesters have overcome the police and are now gathered on the backside of the stairs of the Capitol building.
What you're looking at right now is the Senate floor after all chaos broke loose. Congress was meeting today to certify the Electoral College votes, and when news circulated that Vice President Mike Pence was allowing the count to move forward, protesters started storming the Capitol steps.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a landslide election, and everyone knows it, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have.
That sounds like a fucking shooter. Yo, there's an active shooter here. Get her down. Get the light. Flashlight, flashlight.
2 Ezra 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Giving all praises to the Most High through Mashiach Yahushai. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of Yashraal. And hey, man, these scriptures, again, I keep saying it, they're walking right off the pages. And we are living in the times that our ancestors, Ezra, Hosea, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, you name it, all the great prophets that they long to have been able to see with their own eyes. We're seeing the end of this age, all right? Because again, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of that followeth. So we're watching Esau's kingdom crumble right before our very eyes. And it's a beautiful thing, right? It's a beautiful thing. And yeah, we're living in those times. You know, I got to verify whether or not this meme that's going around that you see pictured here is accurate. And I got to verify what episode of The Simpsons this is on. But I'm telling you, man, The Simpsons seem to, they can't miss. They get it right every single time, you know. It's predictive programming. This is all scripted. All right. This whole Senate rush was a definite PSYOP. OK, it's a PSYOP, but at the same time, and it's scripted. But see, Esau, Edom, and the elites of Amalek, they have a God complex, and they feel as though they're the ultimate authors and writers of this script, but they're not. It's the Most High. He wrote this script from the beginning, okay? And we're able to look into the book and see the prophecies and know that the Most High's hand is behind all of this. We're now seeing the foundations of Egypt being smitten, right? We're now seeing sedition among men, okay? Let's get a couple scripts real quick, because the Most High told us that he's going to send us into captivity. He told us he's going to send us into Egypt, and then he told us he's going to put Egyptians against Egyptians, and you know we're witnessing that right now. Let's go to Hosea chapter 8. Hosea chapter 8, and let's go to verse 13. All right. They sacrifice flesh. Matter of fact, let's start at verse 12. I have written to him, right, Ephraim, right, the great things of my law, but they were counted as a strange thing. You know, our people have counted the law of the Most High and his commandments and these prophecies as just a strange thing. The brothers has been out on the highways and byways prophesying to our people for decades now. They've counted them as a strange thing, mocked them, called them Power Rangers, disrespected them in all sorts of different ways, right? They're strange. Okay. But now you see the things that have been said for all these years, going from One West, from Abba Bivens to One West, to all the different camps that broke out, all the way down to now to this age, is rock solid, is true. This word is coming forth, right? I have written to him the great things of my law, but they were counted as a strange thing. Verse 13, they sacrifice flesh for the sacrifices of mine offerings and eat, but the Lord accepteth them not. Now will he remember their iniquity and visit their sins. They shall return to Egypt. So the Most High says right here in Hosea chapter 8 that he's going to send us back to Egypt, but it wasn't a physical Egypt. All right. We see the same theme in Deuteronomy 28 and 68, that we're going to go back into Egypt, but not physically back into the land of Egypt, back into captivity. So we're in the land of our captivity. All right. We're witnessing the pseudo-Egyptians, or the captors. Okay. And we're watching their destruction. Right. Watch this. Let's go to Isaiah 19. Isaiah 19. And I'll start at verse 1. Isaiah 19 and 1. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Almighty rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. Isn't that crazy? The Most High sent the Spirit this past year into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt were moved. They snatched down all those statues. All those statues of all the Confederates, all the men of note that had slaves, all sorts of things like that. Black Lives Matter, Antifa came through and snatched those idols down. This word is real, right? Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. Literally, that happened. And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. I mean, people were scared. Didn't know what was going on. Esau run off. The first time, liberal Esau, never owned a gun in their lives, going off to buy guns. Their hearts were melting. They were in fear, right? And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, right? Verse 2, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother and every one against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom, or state against state, conservative versus liberal, Democrat versus Republican, you name it. Right? Egyptian is against Egyptian right now. Okay? And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. All right? So that patriotism, American pride, that's going to fail. There's so many people that are demoralized by the outcome of this election. The spirit of Egypt, or the USA, has failed. The spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to wizards. All right. They're going to seek answers from these entertainers, from these politicians who are nothing but high ranking witches, warlocks, wizards, Freemasons, Eastern Stars, so on and so forth. OK. And they're not going to have any sort of wisdom for them. All right. Esau is done, man. This place is finished. All right. So you Jakes, you stand back and you see the salvation of the Most High. OK. Do not get involved. All right. Let Egyptian fight Egyptian or Edomite fight Edomite. You hold fast to these law, statutes, and commandments and to the testament of Hamashiach Yahushai. All right. Be strong and be courageous. OK. Keep the faith. Right. That's all we got to do. I'm going to show one more piece of content here. And I'm going to get out of here. Check this out, Yasharal. Article here from January 8th. An 18-year-old saw her mom, aunt, and uncle in D.C. in a video, right, at the so-called Senate riot. So she named them. Many families have been torn apart by politics and social unrest in the Trump era. Here's one teen story, right? So this 18-year-old saw her mom, aunt, and uncle in that DC riot there. She saw them in the video and she named her. She turned on her own people and named names, right? And look at her. She's proud of it too, right? If I was that girl's father, I would disown that little bitch. Yo, she turned to her own parents. Okay, they down in D.C. getting busy fighting for what they believe in, and she ratting them out back at home. Egyptian is against Egyptian. Okay, this whole damn thing was a PSYOP. All right, it was a PSYOP. It's authored by the Most High, but it was a PSYOP. All right, and you notice that what happened? What happened right after that? Right after the so-called Senate riot. They issued what? A curfew. Okay. On January 6th, they issued a curfew from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. On January 6th, they issued a curfew from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. There's your 666 right there. All right. So this has got all sorts of witchcraft all over it. Okay. We know it's a PSYOP. We know it's a ritual. It's full of witchcraft. It's full of deceit. Okay. And it's here to usher in what they feel as though is going to be the new world order. Okay. But before Esau's belly is full, he's going to be destroyed. Don't worry about that. All right. He's only furthering his destruction and quickening, hastening the day of the redemption of Yashrael and the beginning of the kingdom. All right. So be encouraged, be diligent, be strong, be courageous. Peace and blessings to Yashrael. Shalom.